Today is day 349 of web development. It is also Sunday, July 3rd, 2022. And today I'm going to do like another Flexbox navigation bar. And I also just came across this this is one of my favorite websites, and I just realized it has a gradient thingy generator also. And so I think I'm going to just, I'm going to copy this CSS code for the generator. I'll just have that here, but let me go to my CodePen and start my stuff. So I'll tell CodePen that I am writing in HTML5. So the document type, right, is HTML5. So HTML is the shorthand for HTML5 in this case. I write my HTML tags. And then in my HTML tags, I'm going to write my head tag, which contains all of the back end stuff of web development. It's like all the data and whatever. And then the body tags is like the front end of web development, where you basically anything inside the body tags you will see on the left side of the screen on your page, right? All right, so I'll start always by doing a container, and I'll label it container using a class. And so you can think of it as a box. So now that I labeled it as a container, I can go to my CSS and target the container and style it by giving it properties and values. So because it's a class, I have to use dot notation to select it in CSS. So I'll select it with the dot and I'll write container. And for now, I'll give it a property border of 5 pixels, black and solid. And then you'll see it pop up, but you'll see it a little weird because it doesn't have a height right now. So I'll give it 100 vertical height of the screen, so VH, and that's my container. So, but really quickly, I'm going to select the body, and then I'm going to just copy the CSS and then just paste that in there. And then my CSS gradient should pop up there. All right, for the body. So that's great. Now in my container, I'm going to have a div class, and I'm going to call it navbar. And in the navbar, it's going to be an unordered list. Unordered means that it's just bullet points, while ordered list, which is OL, it means it's just a numbered list. And so in each unordered list and ordered list, there's a list item, and so I want each of my list items to be links that head to nowhere, so that's why I put the hashtag there. And then I'll go and make the first one say home or something like that. And then I'll just kind of copy this a few more times. Whoops. Maybe home, contact, about, pricing. All right. And then at this point, I'm going to go here to my CSS. And I'm just going to start, making it pretty. So for the navbar itself, I like to give everything borders so I know what I'm looking at. So I'll just give that border there. All right, so everything in it, I want it to have a font size of maybe 30 pixels because I do want them to be big. I'm going to save this real quick and open it in debug mode so I can see it. Okay, nice. All right. So in the nav bar, so the unordered list item A, to get rid of the underline is actually like a link property, a text, like an A property. So I have to select the A, right? And I selected an order in which it's written. So I select the unordered list and the list item and then the A because that's the order of it. So I'll make sure that the text decoration, which is a property that is currently set to underline, is actually going to be set to none so that underline is removed, right? It's a decoration. And then I'm also going to change the color of it to be white for now. And then I'll change the background of it to maybe be black for now. And then I'll give it some padding of maybe 10 pixels. And then I'll give it a border radius of probably 20 pixels so that it's round. And then the bullet points is actually a list item property, so I'll have to target the list item. So I'll do UL and then LI, which is a list item, and then the property is actually called list style, and you can set that to none. It will remove the bullet points. I would also go to the nav bar itself, and I would give the navigation bar a display of flex, so that all the items in the navigation bar become flex items. And then at this point, I can set the gap to be maybe something like 2em, which is the equivalent of 32 pixels because it's 16 pixels or something. Let's see. So the navigation bar, so maybe it's not the navigation bar that I want that to be flex. It's the UL. I did the same thing yesterday. There we go. So it's the unordered list, and I'll show you if I go here and change the border maybe to red. So what I want basically is I didn't want the red to be a flex item because there's nothing inside. So okay, how do I explain this? So the nav bar, let's say it's like orange. All right, so the navigation bar is the orange, right? And so you can think of it as a box, the navigation bar. And so I could have had more things. I could have had like another UL and I could have had like 2 red boxes. And so then those would be flex items, and then those would have like spaces in between and whatever. But I don't want that. I want specifically the items, right? The list items to be flex items. And so I have to go even further, and instead of making the nav bar display a flex, I have to make the UL, the unordered list, which is the red box, a display of flex, so that everything inside the red box would be flex items, and then the grid gap can be affected. So not be affected, but work. So if I change it to 1em, the spacing becomes, less, and then if I change it to 5em, it becomes more, right? So I think 2em is good. And then not only that, but then I could also give it a flex wrap. Well, first of all, let me show you what it looks like without. If I do this, you see that it doesn't wrap around each other. It just stays like that, which is very unresponsive. I can slightly fix that by giving it a flex wrap of wrap. And so now that I do that, you'll see that it wraps around and it goes down, which is really nice. So it makes it responsive in that way. Let's see. So yeah, that's that. Let me get rid of the border. Actually, no. So I want the navigation bar. Let me open it here. So I want the navigation bar to be in the middle. So what I'll do is, if I look at it, I know that the orange box is inside the black box, and the black box is the container. And so what I have to do, I have to go back to the container, give it a display of flex, and then justify the content in the container to the center, so that centers it horizontally, and then align items centers it vertically, so it goes down, right? Like that. Perfect. Now it's in the center. Let's see. I also want to change the font, so I'll go to Google Fonts, and I'm going to use the Lato font. I think I already have it here. So you just search up Lato, and then you should click on it, go to regular 400. Where is it? And then just add this style over here, and it should pop up here. And then at this point, you go to link. That's what I use. And I click on it, and I go to my HTML. Where is it? And this is what I was talking about. So you paste it in the head tag. So the head tag is really useful when you want to reference to other things like external links or external pages. And now that we pasted it here, we could actually use the CSS rules in our CSS, and it would know where we're getting those rules from. And so I'll just put those rules here, and you'll see it change as it did. So I'll also do text transform uppercase so that it turns all capital letters and stuff. All right, so that's nice. And then I'll also do one more thing. So I also want it to be animated when I hover over it. So positioned relative to its prior position, I need it to go from the top -2 pixels. So I'll do that. And so now when I hover over it, you see it kind of going from the top -2 pixels. And then I maybe want to kind of pick another color. Yellow goes with green, right? So maybe I'll copy the CSS code here, and instead of a background here, I could just, nope, that's so bad. I need like a darker, maybe this. That's good. I don't know. Maybe. Alright, and so what I'll do is I'll just get rid of the borders that I have here for the unordered list and the container, and also the the UL, or not, what's the thing that has the border of the nav bar? Alright. Oops. Alright, so this is the final result. And it's also responsive. If I do this, it wraps around itself, which is pretty nice. Alright, that's it for today. Bye.